Hello, this is Eileen, the environmental educator, and in this video, we're going to talk about something that's been getting headlines lately, and where Biden tells oil companies to cut costs for Americans. Oh, suddenly Biden cares about Americans. When did that happen? Right here, Biden tells oil companies in a letter, well above normal refinery profit margins are not acceptable. Oh, okay, okay. There's a lot of things that aren't acceptable, right? Like most of this administration's actions. Biden threatens oil companies to produce even more as they are already at full capacity amid skyrocketing gas and diesel prices. And right here, Ban Network, Biden threatens U.S. oil companies with use of emergency authorities because that's what communists do. Now, Biden's blaming everything. He's blaming the war. Right here. Oh, in a said in a Wednesday morning letter to the heads of top oil and gas companies, Russia's war against Ukraine is only partially responsible for the sharp rise in gasoline prices, and asked them to work with his administration to increase the supply of gasoline to Americans. There is no question that Putin is responsible for the intense financial pain that the American people and their families are suffering, Biden wrote. Oh, but amid a war that has raised gasoline prices more than $1.70 per gallon, historically high refinery profit margins are worsening that pain. So suddenly, Biden's pretending to care about Americans, and of course, nothing new here. Putin is being blamed. Putin, Russia, Russia, Russia. These articles here. That's USA Today. That was June 15th. This is CNBC, June 15th. And again, right here, at a time of war. When has America not been at war? Okay, not in my lifetime, and I'm getting up there. America is always at war. Okay, so at a time of war has nothing to do with it. At a time of war, when you've cut off your own natural gas and oil from your country, and now you're dependent upon people you're fighting in war, and then hostile countries, yeah, that can affect things. But most importantly is, of course, you know, Biden's executive orders that he implemented, the day after he took office. On his second day in office, Biden signed executive order on protecting public health and the environment and restoring science to tackle the climate crisis. That is absolutely bull, because the people that are running this White House right now have refused the environmental education and agenda the world needs, that would have already solved our problems, that would have us running on hemp, okay, since Barack's first presidential campaign. So these people truly care nothing about the environment. They That is absolute. But he's he's out there pretending like he does, just like right now he's pretending like he cares about Americans. The biggest takeaway from the executive order was the cancellation of the Keystone XL pipeline permit. And of course, that's what communists do. That they take natural resources and what your economy needs to run away from the people. And so, but um, Biden then followed up that action with executive order on tackling the climate crisis, home and abroad. That's bull. That's absolute bull. Every single person in power could not be prouder to keep the environmental solutions the world needs from the world, because we wouldn't even be talking about oil right now, because oil isn't just used for to power cars and get us places. It is in the manufacturing of 6,000, 10,000 products, something like that. Okay, our disposable society is all oil based. If we just ended our disposable society and all the plastic bags that we throw our disposable waste into, that is a big part of the oil demand, plastics, which again, just like transportation, hemp could fill in for, could replace. The transition could have already happened. Okay, but no, they're not interested in transition. They're not interested in actual real solutions. So Stacy Morris, who is the Director of Research for Midstream Index and Data Provider Alerian, explained that the orders were certainly not as bad as they seemed. These executive orders seemed pretty well telegraphed. They were even a little bit softened from what he said during the campaign. Oh, well, God, that's nice, right? And they're not allowing new oil and gas lease permits and exploration permits on federal land, and they have brought this problem on America. This isn't Putin. This isn't at a time of war. The United States is always at war. Now, Band Network right here, they did, these articles here, they're pretty much cookie cutter. They don't really say much of anything. They're propaganda outlets, so they're not going to give you any real news, any real analysis. But there's some here. Um, oh yes, his administration is prepared to use all reasonable and appropriate federal government tools and emergency authorities to increase refinery capacity and output in the near term and ensure that every region of the country is appropriately supplied. Okay. And but the historically high profit margins. Okay. So, the oil companies, they defend themselves. We'll see that in a little bit here. Now, this is right here. I call this lady Raggedy Ann. I mean, right? I mean, oh my God, she she makes Sarah Huckabee look smart. She makes that other redhead that was just there look smart too. And Sarah Huckabee, she makes her look smart. Listen to this.
Now we want to focus on the oil refinery, which is why we put out the letter today or yesterday. I'm losing my track of time, and so we see that as an important first step in making sure that the oil refineries are doing their part. Again, patriotic duty in making sure that they're putting out capacity and they're not taking advantage of a war that is hurting the American public.
Oh, now we want to. It's the war, and it's their patriotic duty. I'm pretty sure the White House has patriotic duty to America, and yet they are the least patriotic, the most anti-American, and working against American administration ever since Barack's first two White House occupations. But right, I mean, they have this. I call this lady Raggedy Ann. I mean, she is just really, really very scary. And she's always reading right here. She's reading from her binder. Biden is open to reasonable uses of federal government's tools to increase the output of lower costs at the pump. Oh, okay. So, meanwhile, gas prices have more than doubled since, this authoritarian regime has taken over the White House. And so Exxonmobil responded to Biden, blasting his attempts to blame them for his own failing energy policies. They said they've been in regular contact with the administration to update the president and his staff on how ExxonMobil has been investing more than any other company to develop U.S. oil and gas supplies. It says this includes investment in the U.S. of more than $50 billion over the past 5 years, resulting in an almost 50% increase in our U.S. production during this production of oil during this period. Globally, they've invested double what they've earned over the past 5 years and $118 billion on new oil and gas supplies compared to net income of $55 billion. This is a reflection of the company's long-term growth strategy and commitment to continuously invest to meet society's demands for their products, which people can scream about the oil companies all they want, but people do not relinquish their use of oil products. And it isn't just gas. It is all the plastic. It's all their packaging. It's all their disposable society that they're not giving up. I just heard a news report today that people are outraged. Walmart doesn't have plastic bags to give people at the cashiers. I mean, we just expect it. Yet everybody screams about the gas and oil companies, but expects all of the products that their company provides. Why? Oh, because no one has gotten us on hemp since November of '93. And Gore could have done it long before anybody knew Barack's name. Okay? Woody, have you ever heard Gore talk about it? No. Just like McKibben, who's out there arguing that the United States should be paying reparations to the world because we're polluters, and McKibben has no solutions. Mr. 350 himself got Earth to 400, as I call them. McKibben has no solutions, and he and his 350 got Earth to 400 won't allow solutions either. So, he himself could have, but he's too busy, palling around with Mr. BS Bernie Sanders, and no one will allow the solutions the world needs. So, they kept investing, the oil companies, even during the pandemic. They lost more than $20 billion and had to borrow more than $30 billion to maintain investment, to increase capacity, to be ready for post-pandemic demand, the company, further said. So, good for them to stand up to Biden, who's putting them out of business, but now telling them to get to work. You can't have it every which way. But, that's what people who make no sense do. Now right here, listen to Biden in 2020.
Would there be any place for fossil fuels, including coal and fracking, in a Biden administration?
No, we would work it out. We would make sure it's eliminated. No more drilling on federal lands. No more drilling, including offshore. No ability for the oil industry to continue to drill, period. I guarantee we're going to end fossil fuel.
What about, say, stopping fracking and stopping new pipeline infrastructure? And
no new fracking. We are going to get rid of fossil fuels. I've argued against any more oil drilling or gas drilling on federal lands. No one's going to build a coal-fired plant again, and we're going to get rid of the ones we have now. Have a transition from the oil industry, yes.
Would you be willing to sacrifice some of that growth, even knowing potentially that it could displace thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands of blue-collar workers in the interest of transitioning to that greener economy?
The answer is yes.
The answer is yes. He's going to do it. He's taking you off oil and gas. He's shutting them down, and now he's demanding that they do better. Okay, it's so sad that this is even a situation. Ted Cruz, he's not really your friend. Gas prices have increased 48% under Biden before Russia invaded Ukraine. And right, as I said, when has the U.S. not been at war? Never in my lifetime. Okay, so that's just right here. Oh, let's listen to Mr. Private Jet and Mr. How many homes does he have himself?
And energy security worry is driving a lot of the thoughts now about, we need more drilling of gas. We need more drilling of this. We need to go back to coal. No, we don't. We absolutely don't. And we have to prevent a false narrative from entering into this, or again, pun intended, we are cooked.
No, I contacted the State Department a few times when Kerry was running it, because he was all yapping about the environment then, and you never get anywhere with any of these people. They're not interested in solutions. But you know what? I was telling them that, according to them, according to everything they say, greenhouse gases are weapons of mass destruction. It's the title of my book. And what it really means is that, the people on the right who can't be bothered to care about the environment at all are like, oh, she thinks global warming is going to destroy everything. No, I said that's what they say, the experts say. And the point is that, all these people, they all lead environmentally abusive lives and they won't allow solutions. And so, according to U.S. law, not preventing terrorism is terrorism. Well, if you know that greenhouse gases, you say, you believe, you preach, greenhouse gases are, causing massive death, destruction, and devastation across the world, then not doing everything you can in implementing solutions to prevent that, how is that not terrorism? Greenhouse gases are weapons of mass destruction. So I would tell Kerry that. And then all of a sudden, John Kerry started using that expression. Swear to God, it had to have come from me. And, yeah, anyway, so, yeah, Biden in 2020, we're going to make Saudi Arabia the pariah they are. Oh, in 2022, we're begging Saudi Arabia for oil. We're begging Saudi Arabia. We're at war with Russia, who is the key supplier to the world now, because America was energy independent until Mr. I'm destroying America took the White House. And he just welcomed himself, basically, like he allows illegals to welcome in invaders to welcome themselves to America, not caring about Americans like he's pretending to here. Oh, he's got to cut costs for Americans as costs of everything are rising. So that's just some bull that's coming out of this administration. They don't care about you. They are about making your life unbearable. They're about making it so that you can't afford anything, because that is how life in communist countries are. So don't be fooled by their propaganda. Yeah, don't be fooled by Raggedy Ann here. She's God, it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing watching her. It truly is. She's just so stupid. She doesn't even know she should be humiliated going out there and making a spectacle of herself. And really, how is she not Raggedy Ann? Anyways, don't listen to them. The fact of the matter is, they have absolutely no interest in solutions. They won't allow solutions, and we wouldn't even be talking about this subject. We would be well beyond it. We would be solving other world problems had the people that are running this White House or anyone before them, like Gore, allowed solutions since November of '93. So good for the oil companies and standing up to this bully here. And stay tuned, people.